Hi, would you believe me if I told you that the person sleeping in your guest room could destroy your entire marriage? That the man you loved enough to give up everything for could betray you with someone living under the roof you provided? Yeah, me neither, until it happened. So grab some coffee, get comfortable, and let me tell you about the wildest, most heartbreaking, and ultimately most empowering thing that's ever happened to me. And please, when you're done listening, leave a comment below and tell me, if you were in my shoes, what would you have done? I'd love to hear your thoughts. So, my name is Ann Smithson Matthews. I'm 27, and up until a few weeks ago, I thought I had it all figured out. Good job as an office worker, about to be promoted to office manager, actually. A husband I adored, a beautiful house my grandmother left me in Washington State, the kind of life people post about on social media with heart emojis. But here's the thing about picture-perfect lives, they're usually hiding something ugly underneath. I met Aiden Matthews when I was 24. He was 28, charming, confident, always dressed well. He had this way of making me feel like I was the only person in the room. My parents, Jay and Daria, they'd already retired and moved to Canada by then. They wanted me to come with them, start fresh up north. But I was so stupidly, blindly in love with Aiden. And honestly, I loved my job too. I'd worked hard to get where I was. So stupid me stayed. We got married a year later. The wedding was small but beautiful. I wore my grandmother's pearls. Aiden looked at me like I was everything he'd ever wanted. I remember thinking, this is it. This is my happily ever after. But that happily ever after lasted about 3 weeks. That's when Aiden sat me down in our living room, my living room in my grandmother's house, and told me he was in debt. Not a little debt. Not, oops, I overspent on the honeymoon debt. How much? $80,000.
I'm sorry. I was scared you'd leave me if I told you before the wedding.
He'd said, and I'll never forget the look on his face. Not quite guilty enough, if I'm being honest. I just stared at him. 80,000? Aiden, how? He rubbed the back of his neck. Wouldn't quite meet my eyes.
I maxed out 3 credit cards, $5,000 each. Then I took out bank loans to pay them off, and then I took out more loans to cover those.
But why, I asked, my voice rising. What did you even spend it on? And here's where it gets really pathetic.
I wanted to keep up with my friends. They all have money, the nice cars, the expensive dinners. I wanted to fit in. I wanted to look successful.
I should have seen the red flags then. My best friend Sonia certainly did. She'd told me from the beginning that she didn't like Aiden, that he had this attitude about him, acting rich when he wasn't, treating people he considered beneath him, like they didn't matter. She said he was all show and no substance. But I didn't listen. I was too in love, too blind. Instead of leaving, instead of calling my parents and admitting they were right to be worried, I told him I'd help him. We'd pay off the debt together. He'd handle the regular amortization payments, and I'd pay extra toward the principal to get it done faster. Because that's what you do when you love someone, right? You help them. You stand by them. God, I was such an idiot. A few months later, when money was really tight, Aiden suggested we rent out one of the spare bedrooms. Grandma's house had 3 bedrooms, all with their own bathrooms. It made sense financially, at least until the debt was paid off. That's how Harper Simpson came into our lives. She was 25, pretty in that effortless way some girls are. Blonde hair, sweet smile, good credit history. She'd just gotten out of a broken engagement and needed a place to stay. She seemed nice enough, quiet, kept to herself mostly. I thought having her there would help. Extra income, you know? Take some of the pressure off. I had no idea I was inviting a wolf into my home. Things got worse after I got promoted to office manager. I'd worked so hard for it, put in the overtime, took on extra projects. I was proud of myself. I thought Aiden would be proud too. Instead, he got weird about it.
You're earning more than me now. Men are supposed to be the providers, Anne, he replied, not looking at me. It doesn't feel right.
I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Aiden, I'm working hard so we can pay off your debt, so we can have a future.
Maybe you should quit. Be a full-time housewife. That's what traditional marriages look like.
I actually laughed. I couldn't help it. Quit. And how exactly would we pay your debt then? How would we pay the bills? Harper's rent doesn't cover everything. He didn't have an answer for that. He just got up and left the room. That's when things started to change. He became distant, cold, started coming home late, saying he was hanging out with friends. He paid more attention to his phone than to me. And I noticed something else. He started noticing Harper. Little comments here and there. Harper made dinner tonight. It was really good. Harper's so easygoing, not stressed about work all the time. Harper understands that not everything has to be about career and money. I tried to ignore it. Tried to tell myself I was being paranoid, that the stress was getting to me. Sonia warned me again, told me something felt off, but I didn't want to believe it. I was working late one Tuesday night, still at the office, finishing up reports for the promotion I just received. The office was quiet, just the hum of the computers and the cleaning crew vacuuming down the hall. I was exhausted, but determined to prove I deserved the position. That's when my phone buzzed, a call from Sonia. "Hey, Sonia, I'm still at work," I started.
"Anne, check your texts! Right now, I just sent you something!"
Her voice was shaking, my heart dropped. What's wrong?
Just check. I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry.
I pulled the phone away from my ear and opened my messages. There was a video from Sonia. The preview showed a dimly lit restaurant, looked expensive, romantic lighting, fancy table settings. I pressed play. The video started shaky. Sonia must have filmed it quickly, trying not to be obvious, but the image cleared, and I saw them. Aiden and Harper. They were sitting at a table in what I immediately recognized as that new French restaurant downtown, the one that had just opened. Le Coeur de Lion. Insanely expensive. The kind of place Aiden always talked about wanting to go, but we could never afford because, his debt. They were dressed up. Harper was wearing a dress I'd never seen before, something elegant and probably expensive. Aiden had on his best suit, the one he wore to our wedding. My hand was trembling so badly I almost dropped the phone. On the video, I watched as Aiden reached across the table and took Harper's hand. She was smiling at him. That same sweet smile she'd given me when she first moved in, when I'd helped her carry her boxes to her room, when I'd told her to make herself at home. My home. My grandmother's home. Then Aiden stood up, and my entire world fell apart. He got down on one knee beside the table. "No," I whispered to the empty office. No. I couldn't hear what he was saying on the video. Sonia was too far away, and the restaurant's ambient music was too loud. But I didn't need to hear it. I could see everything I needed to see. Harper's hand flew to her mouth. She was crying, happy tears. The kind of tears I'd cried when Aiden proposed to me 3 years ago. Aiden pulled out a small box. Even on the grainy video, I could see it was from a jewelry store. A nice one. How the hell did he afford that? We were supposed to be paying off debt. I'd been eating ramen for lunch to save money. I'd been taking the bus instead of driving to save on gas. And he was buying engagement rings? Harper nodded enthusiastically. Aiden slid the ring onto her finger. They kissed. Other diners around them started clapping. Someone sent over champagne. The whole romantic restaurant proposal scene. Like we'd never happened. Like our marriage meant nothing. Like I didn't exist. The video ended. I sat there in my office chair staring at my phone screen, and I couldn't breathe. It felt like someone had reached into my chest and crushed my heart with their bare hands. My phone rang again. "Sonia?"
"Anne?"
Her voice was gentle, worried. "I'm here," I managed to say, though my voice didn't sound like my own.
"I'm so sorry you had to see that. I didn't know what to do. When I saw them come in, Anne, I wanted to throw water in his face. I wanted to scream. But I thought you needed to know. You needed proof."
"You work there?" I asked numbly. "At Le Coeur de Lion?"
"I just started part-time. Remember I told you I got a waitressing job at that new French place? I mentioned it to you last week, but you've been so busy with the promotion. Anne, I didn't know they'd show up there."
Right, she had told me. But I'd been so consumed with work, with trying to earn enough money to pay off Aiden's debt faster, that I hadn't really processed it.
"It wasn't my section, thank God. I was helping in the back when they came in. I saw them through the kitchen window. Anne, he spent so much money tonight. The dinner, the champagne, the ring. That's easily several $1,000s.
Several $1,000s we didn't have. Several $1,000s that should have gone to his debt, to our life. He told me last week we couldn't afford to fix the washing machine, I heard myself say. My voice sounded hollow, distant. He said we'd have to wait until next month. I've been going to the laundromat. I looked around my office, at the desk I'd worked so hard to earn, at the reports I'd stayed late to finish, at the promotion paperwork still sitting in my inbox. I'd sacrificed so much, given up so much, for him, for us, for a marriage that was apparently already over. She lives in my house, I said quietly. In my grandmother's house, the house I let her stay in because I thought I was helping someone in need.
What are you going to do?
I wiped my face and realized I was crying. I hadn't even noticed when the tears started. What was I going to do? I was sitting in my office at 9 o'clock at night, working overtime to help pay off my husband's debt, while that same husband was proposing to another woman with money he claimed we didn't have. A woman living under my roof, sleeping in my grandmother's house, probably laughing at me behind my back. And the worst part? The absolute worst part? I'd seen the signs. Sonia had warned me. The distance, the comments, the way he looked at Harper. But I'd ignored it all because I loved him. Because I'd believed in us.
Anne, are you okay? Do you want me to come get you? You shouldn't be alone right now.
I took a shaky breath and straightened my shoulders. No, I'm okay. I need to think. Thank you for telling me, I interrupted gently. I mean it. You're a real friend, Sonia. The only one who's been honest with me.
I love you, and you deserve so much better than this, than him.
After I hung up, I sat in the silence of my office for a long time. I played the video again and again, each time hoping I'd see something different, that I'd been wrong, that there was some explanation. But there wasn't. My husband was engaged to another woman, our tenant, in my house, and somehow I had to figure out what to do next. Then something clicked in my brain. A cold, clear thought cutting through the fog of tears and heartbreak. He used my money I earned, money I'd been setting aside to help pay his debt, money I'd sacrificed for, worked overtime for, skipped lunches for, and he spent it on her. I opened my laptop with shaking hands and logged into our credit card account, the one in my name, the one I'd made Aiden an authorized user on because he needed to rebuild his credit after destroying it with his stupid loans. My fingers hovered over the keyboard for just a second. Was I really going to do this? Yes. Yes, I was. I clicked on Manage Users and removed Aiden's authorization. Just like that. One click and his access was gone. The tears were flowing freely now, dripping onto my keyboard, but I didn't stop. I changed the password, changed all the security questions, made sure he couldn't call the bank and sweet talk his way back in. Thank God nobody else was in the office. I must have looked insane, crying and typing furiously at the same time. Then I opened our shared checking account, the one we used for household bills and debt payments. Every month, I'd transfer money from my personal account into this joint account. Aiden would then use the debit card to make the payment on his loans. Well, the principal payment, the extra payment that was supposed to get us out of debt faster. I'd been doing this for over a year. I'd paid off almost half of his debt. The balance was down to $57,000 from the original $80,000. $23,000 of my hard-earned money gone to fix his mistakes. And this was how he repaid me. I looked at the current balance in the joint account. There was about $3,000 sitting there. Money I'd transferred last week for this month's bills and debt payment. My mouse cursor hovered over the transfer button. "I'm sorry, Grandma," I whispered to the empty office. She'd always taught me to be kind, to be forgiving, to stand by the people you love. But she'd also taught me not to be a fool. I transferred every single dollar from the joint account into my personal account, the one Aiden didn't have access to, the one he didn't even know the balance of, because I'd kept it separate, kept it safe. The joint account balance now read $327. Let him figure that out. I was about to close my laptop when my phone rang again. "Sonia."
You're not going to believe this.
"What happened?" I asked, wiping my face with my sleeve.
They just tried to pay the bill. Anne, you should have seen his face. He gave them the credit card, acting all smooth and confident. Declined. The server came back looking embarrassed. He tried again, told them maybe they ran it wrong. Declined again. Then he tried the debit card. Insufficient funds. Anne, he went completely pale, started checking his phone, probably looking at his bank app. Harper was looking at him all confused. The server was just standing there waiting. Despite everything, I felt a grim sense of satisfaction bloom in my chest.
What did he do? I asked.
He completely panicked. Started stammering about how there must be something wrong with his cards, how this has never happened before. He clearly didn't have enough in his own personal account to cover it. So you know what happened?
What happened?
He had to ask Harper to pay for it. His fiancée had to pay for the engagement dinner he planned. He looked like he wanted to die. She looked annoyed but paid with her card. I think she used up most of her money, Anne. She did not look happy about it.
Good. Let Harper see what kind of man she was signing up for. Let her see that he was all show and no substance, just like Sonia had always said, and let her go broke doing it.
But that's not even the best part.
Huh? There's more?
After the payment went through and they were getting ready to leave, I walked right up to their table.
Sonia, you didn't...
Oh, I absolutely did. Ha! I walked right up to them with the biggest smile on my face and said, "Aiden! Harper! What a surprise to see you both here!"
Oh my...
Harper recognized me immediately. "Remember, I've been to your house. We've met several times when I'd come over to visit you." The moment she saw me, her eyes went huge. She knew exactly who I was, your best friend, and she knew I'd tell you everything.
How about Aiden?
That's the thing. You never told him I got the part-time job at the restaurant, remember? He had no idea I worked there, so when I walked up in my uniform, I could see it dawn on him. His face went through about 5 different expressions in 2 seconds. Shock, then horror, then panic. He realized I'd seen everything. The proposal, the ring, all of it. So I looked right at them and said, loud enough for the nearby tables to hear, "So you're engaged now? Congratulations!" "Does your wife know about this, Aiden?"
Oh my God, you didn't.
He got mad. Once he recovered from the shock, he got all indignant. Asked to speak to my manager. Complained that I was harassing his guests, that I was being unprofessional, the whole thing. My manager came over and apologized to them. Very polite, very professional.
Oh no, Sonia, did you get in trouble?
Well, they left looking completely humiliated. But here's the thing. After they were gone, my manager turned to me and started laughing. She said those two absolutely deserved that, and they're never coming back here anyway. But Sonia, don't do it next time. I can't have my servers confronting customers even if they're cheating scumbags.
Your manager said that?
Word for word.
I didn't know whether to laugh or cry, so I did both. Thank you, I managed to say through my tears. Thank you for having my back.
Always. Now, are you going home tonight?
Yeah, I need to see him, process this.
Call me if you need anything, I mean it.
After we hung up, I packed up my things and drove home. My home, my grandmother's home. Time to face my lying, cheating husband. The house was quiet when I got home, all the lights off except for the dim glow from our bedroom window. It was almost 11 p.m. I took a deep breath before getting out of the car, steadying myself. I had to stay calm. Had to act normal. Just for tonight. Just until I figured out what to do next. I unlocked the front door as quietly as I could and stepped inside. Everything looked the same as it had this morning when I'd left for work. The same couch, the same photos, the same lies. I climbed the stairs, my heart pounding with every step. When I opened our bedroom door, I found Aiden sitting up in bed, laptop balanced on his knees. His face was illuminated by the screen, and he looked stressed. Panicked, even. Good. He looked up when I walked in, and I could see the guilt flicker across his face before he quickly masked it with a smile.
Hey babe, you're home late.
Long day at work, I said, setting my bag down by the dresser. I kept my voice neutral, tired, not suspicious, just exhausted. What are you doing still up? It's almost 11.
Oh, just checking the credit card statement. Wanted to make sure everything looked right.
Liar. He didn't have access anymore. He was probably frantically trying to log in, trying to figure out why his card had been declined at the restaurant. Why he couldn't see the account. Why everything was falling apart. You can do that tomorrow, I said, walking to the closet to change into my pajamas. You should get some sleep.
Yeah, you're right.
But he didn't close the laptop. I could see him from the corner of my eye, still clicking, still trying, getting more frustrated. I went to the bathroom to wash my face and brush my teeth, taking my time. In the mirror, I looked at myself. My eyes were still puffy from crying, but in the dim bathroom light, it just looked like exhaustion. When I came back out, Aiden had finally closed the laptop and set it on his nightstand. He was lying down now, but his body was tense, rigid. "How was your day?" I asked, climbing into bed beside him, playing the role of the oblivious wife.
It was fine, just the usual. Work stuff, nothing exciting.
Nothing exciting, right? Just a marriage proposal to another woman at an expensive French restaurant, just another day of lying to my face. "That's good," I said, turning onto my side, facing away from him. "I'm exhausted. Good night."
Good night, babe.
I could hear the tension in his voice. I lay there in the darkness, listening to him breathe. He wasn't sleeping. I could tell by the way he kept shifting, the way his breathing stayed shallow and quick. He was worried, panicking, probably, trying to figure out what had gone wrong, how to fix it before I found out. Too late, I thought. Too late for all of that. The next morning, I woke up at 6:30 before my alarm. Aiden was still in bed, either asleep or pretending to be. I slipped out quietly, grabbed my phone, and went downstairs. In the kitchen, I was surprised to find Harper already awake, filling her travel mug with water at the sink. She was dressed for work, her hair pulled back in a ponytail, looking fresh and innocent like she hadn't just destroyed someone's marriage. She turned when she heard me come in, and for a second our eyes met. I saw the guilt there, quickly masked by a bright, fake smile.
Oh, good morning, Anne.
She chirped, like nothing was wrong. Like she hadn't just gotten engaged to my husband 12 hours ago.
You're up early.
Couldn't sleep, I said, moving past her to start the coffee maker. Big day at work.
Oh, I know how that is. Well, I better get going. Traffic's gonna be crazy. Bye.
That sing-song voice, that little wave. I wanted to throw the coffee pot at her head. But I just smiled. Have a good day. I heard her car pull out of the driveway. I let out a breath and pulled out my phone. It was 7 a.m. now. Time to call my manager. Linda answered on the third ring.
Anne, is everything okay?
"Hi, Linda. I'm so sorry to call you this early," I said, keeping my voice low and apologetic. "I have a family emergency. I need to request PTO, starting today. At least a week."
Oh no, is everything all right?
"It's complicated," I said, which wasn't a lie. "I just need some time to handle some personal matters. I know this is sudden, and I'm so sorry."
Anne, stop apologizing. You've been with us for years and you've never taken a proper vacation. You've earned this time. Take what you need. Just keep me updated, okay?
"Thank you," I said, relief washing over me. "I really appreciate it." After I hung up, I heard footsteps on the stairs. Aiden was up. I quickly composed myself, took a sip of coffee, and pretended to be scrolling through emails. He came into the kitchen, already dressed for work, looking exhausted and stressed. There were dark circles under his eyes.
You're up early?
"Couldn't sleep," I said casually, not looking up from my phone. Too much on my mind with the promotion and everything. He grabbed a granola bar from the pantry. He hesitated, like he wanted to say something.
Yeah, I should get going. Traffic's gonna be bad.
But he didn't leave. He stood there, staring at his phone, his face getting paler. "Is everything okay?" I asked innocently.
Yeah, fine. Just work stuff. I'll see you tonight.
"Have a good day," I said pleasantly. The moment his car pulled away, I sprang into action. I grabbed my laptop and started searching for divorce lawyers, making calls. Most couldn't see me for weeks, but then I called attorney Mark Warren's office. The receptionist said that there is a cancellation so he can see me today at 2 in the afternoon. Attorney Mark Warren's office was professional but welcoming. He was a man in his early 40s with kind eyes and a calm demeanor that immediately put me at ease. I told him everything, showed him everything, the video, the bank statements, the credit card charges. When I finished, he leaned back in his chair and gave me the rundown.
First, alienation of affection. Washington abolished that in 1922. You can't sue Harper. But the credit card charges? That's marital dissipation of assets. We can argue he should be solely responsible for that debt.
What about the money I paid on his loans? That's $23,000.
That's trickier since you paid voluntarily during the marriage. But given his fraud and infidelity, we can fight for compensation. It's not guaranteed, but worth pursuing.
And my house?
Inherited property stays separate property. As long as you didn't add him to the deed, it's yours. He has no claim to it.
Relief flooded through me. What about Harper? Can I evict her?
20 days written notice for a month-to-month tenant. And if she doesn't leave, you file for formal eviction. But do it legally, no shortcuts.
How long for the documents?
The eviction notice by tomorrow. The divorce petition will take 2 to 3 days. I want everything documented properly. In the meantime, document everything. Every conversation, every interaction. Take photos of your belongings. Protect yourself.
I signed the retainer agreement, $5,000. Worth every penny.
I'll call you when the documents are ready.
After leaving the law office, I sat in my car and called Sonia. I did it. I'm filing for divorce.
How are you feeling?
Honestly, like I'm grieving. I still love him, Sonia, or I love who I thought he was. And that's the worst part.
That's normal. You're allowed to grieve what you thought you had.
Can I stay with you for a few days? Please? While I wait for the paperwork? I can't be in that house with them.
Of course, anytime. But what are you going to tell them?
Maybe a trip? But you know what? I'm going home tonight, and I'm going to mess with their heads a little. I will do that first. I stopped at the grocery store and bought ingredients for Aiden's favorite meal, chicken parmesan. If I was going to play a role, I'd play it perfectly. When I got home around 5:30, both cars were in the driveway. They were home early. Weird. I grabbed the grocery bags and walked in with the biggest smile on my face. They were both in the living room, Aiden on the couch looking miserable, Harper in the armchair looking worried. They both jumped when I came in. "Hi," I said cheerfully. "I'm making dinner tonight, chicken parmesan." Aiden stared at me like I'd grown a second head.
You're cooking?
Of course. I realized I've been working so much I haven't made a proper meal in forever, I said, breezing into the kitchen. Thought it would be nice. I could feel their eyes on me as I unpacked the groceries, humming cheerfully. Let them wonder. Let them panic about why I was suddenly so happy.
Can I help?
Harper called out nervously. No, you relax, I called back. You've had a long day. I started cooking, making plenty of noise. After a few minutes, Aiden appeared in the kitchen doorway.
Are you okay?
I'm great. Why?
You just seem different.
He looked at me, studying my face. Different how?
Happier, I guess.
He looked so confused. Well, I've been thinking, I said, breading the chicken. I've been so stressed about work and money and everything, but life's too short, right? We should enjoy it more.
Yes, you're right.
What's the point of working so hard if we can't enjoy a nice dinner together? I continued. We're a family here. The three of us. We should act like it. I saw him flinch at the three of us. So I decided I'm taking some time off, I announced. Going to take care of myself, maybe travel a little.
Travel? Where?
I don't really know yet. Maybe visit my parents, or just drive down the coast. Haven't decided. But I'm leaving tomorrow for a few days.
Tomorrow?
He looked like he might faint. Is that a problem?
Well, no, it's just you've never taken a trip before.
Exactly why I need to. Life is unpredictable, Aiden. You never know what's going to happen. Better to do things while you can, right? He didn't answer, just stood there looking sick, and I'm enjoying looking at him nervous. Can you set the table? Dinner's almost ready, I said. He nodded and left. I heard him whisper urgently to Harper in the living room. Perfect. When dinner was ready, I called them both to the table. They sat down like condemned prisoners. I served generous portions, poured wine, and made cheerful small talk that neither of them could really respond to.
This looks amazing.
Thanks. I wanted to do something nice before I leave, I said, taking a sip of wine.
This trip, is it for work?
No, I told my boss it's a family emergency. But really, I just need time to think, to process some things. The way I said process some things made them both tense.
Process what?
Oh, life, decisions, the future, what I want, what I deserve. We ate in uncomfortable silence. Every minute, I could see them getting more nervous, more paranoid. After dinner, I cleaned up, then made chamomile tea, Aiden's favorite, and brought him a cup. Here, I said sweetly, I know you like this before bed.
Thanks.
Okay, I'm going to pack for my trip. Need to get to bed early. Long drive tomorrow.
Where exactly are you going?
I'll let you know when I get there, I said with a mysterious smile. More fun that way. I went upstairs, packed a bag, and listened to them whisper frantically to each other downstairs. Let them panic. Let them wonder. Tomorrow I'd go to Sonia's and wait, and then I'd come back and end this. The next morning, I left early, kissing Aiden on the forehead one last time, one final performance, and telling him I'd call when I got to wherever I was going.
Be safe, please.
He mumbled, barely awake. Always, I said. I drove straight to Sonia's apartment. She was getting ready for work when I arrived, but she stopped everything to give me a long, tight hug.
You okay?
No, but I will be.
My home is your home, you know that, right? Stay as long as you need.
After she left for work, the apartment fell quiet, and that's when it hit me. I sat on the edge of the guest bed and let myself cry, not the angry tears from before. These were grief tears, mourning tears. Because despite everything, despite the lies, the cheating, the theft, I still loved him. Or at least I loved who I thought he was. The man who'd proposed to me by the duck pond. The man who'd held me when Grandma died. Had that man ever existed? Or had I invented him because I was so desperate to be loved? I looked at photos on my phone. Our wedding day, our first apartment, lazy Sunday mornings. In every single one, I was genuinely happy, genuinely in love. Was he faking it the whole time? Or had there been a moment when he actually loved me before I became just a bank account with a heartbeat? Why wasn't I enough? That question haunted me. I examined myself in the mirror, looking for flaws, for reasons. Was I too focused on my career? Too ambitious? Had I let myself go? But no. I was still me, still the woman he'd married. Maybe that was the problem. Maybe he never wanted me at all. Just my house, my money, my willingness to clean up his messes. God, I'd made so many excuses for him, defended him to Sonia. He's just stressed. He needs support. Love means being patient. But he wasn't stressed. He was using me. I wanted to understand why. What was the moment he decided I wasn't enough? When I got promoted? Before that? Was there nothing I could have done differently? My phone buzzed. It's Aiden.
Hey, babe, just checking in. Where are you?
I typed back, taking some time to think. I'll be back in a few days. His response was immediate.
Think about what?
I didn't answer. Let him wonder. The second day was quieter. The grief had settled into something duller, but still there, still aching. Sonia came home for lunch with soup from the deli.
How are you?
I keep asking myself why I wasn't enough.
Anne! No, you didn't do anything wrong. This is about him being selfish and broken. You were working hard, making him face reality, making him be an adult. He didn't like it, so he found someone who'd let him play pretend. Harper probably thinks he's successful. She doesn't know he's drowning in debt. She doesn't see the real him.
But she will...
Oh, she absolutely will.
Sonia agreed with a dark smile. I sat with that thought. Yes, Harper would learn soon enough what she'd really won. By the third day, my lawyer called. The documents are ready and is ready for pickup. Finally. I picked up the thick manila envelopes and held them in my hands. They felt heavy. Final. I drove back to Sonia's and sat in the car, staring at the envelopes. Tomorrow I'd go home. Tomorrow I'd serve them the papers. Tomorrow I'd start taking my life back. But tonight, I'd let myself grieve one more time for the future I'd wanted, the love I'd believed in, the life I thought we'd build together. Tomorrow the war would begin. The next morning, I woke up with a sense of purpose. Today was the day. I got dressed, put on makeup, did my hair. I wanted to look good, strong, like I had my life together, even though I felt like I was falling apart inside. I grabbed the manila envelopes and drove home. My own home. Both cars were in the driveway. It was almost noon on a Thursday. Why were they both home? I sat in my car for a moment, listening. I could hear raised voices from inside the house, arguing. Perfect. I got out of the car quietly and walked to the front door. It was unlocked. I slipped inside and stood in the hallway, listening. They were in the living room, and they were panicking.
I'm telling you, something's wrong. The credit card stopped working. I tried calling them, but they won't give me any information because it's in Anne's name.
Did you check the joint account?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to tell you. She transferred all the money out. There's only $3 left. I can't even afford gas. That's why I'm working from home today. I literally cannot afford to drive to the office.
Oh my God, Aiden, she knows. She has to know about us. Why else would she do this?
I don't know. Maybe she's just being paranoid about the finances? Maybe it's not about us?
Are you serious right now? Her best friend works at the restaurant where you proposed to me. Of course she knows.
There was a pause. Then Aiden said something that made my blood boil.
Okay, even if she knows, even if she wants a divorce, it doesn't matter. Half of everything is mine. We live in Washington, community property state.
But the she will give you a hard time.
Doesn't matter. The house is what matters. That house is worth at least $700,000, maybe $800,000. Even if she tries to claim it's hers because of the inheritance, I'm her husband. I have rights. The court will make her sell it, and I'll get half. That's $350,000 to $400,000, Harper. For us, that's our nest egg. That's how we start our life together. We'll be fine. Better than fine. We'll finally have money. Real money. No more struggling. No more pretending.
I couldn't help it. I laughed, out loud, a sharp, bitter laugh that echoed through the hallway into the living room. The voices stopped abruptly. I walked into the living room, still laughing, the manila envelopes clutched in my hands. They were both standing by the couch, Aiden in sweatpants and an old t-shirt because he couldn't afford gas to go to work, Harper in yoga pants looking like she'd been crying. They stared at me like I'd risen from the dead.
You're supposed to be on your trip. You said...
I lied. I said simply, my laughter fading into something cold and hard, kind of like how you've been lying to me for months. Funny how that works, isn't it? Harper backed away slightly, her eyes wide with fear.
And I can explain.
Oh, please do. Please explain to me how you're going to get half of my grandmother's house, the house I inherited, the house that's in my name only. Please, Aiden, enlighten me about these rights you think you have. His face went from white to red.
I'm your husband. In Washington, that means...
It means nothing. I cut him off. Inherited property stays separate property, Aiden. You have no claim to this house. None. Zero. Zilch. Nada. I took a step closer, and they both instinctively stepped back. But you know what's really funny? I continued, my voice rising. You two sitting here, planning your future, talking about how you're going to spend my money, live off my inheritance, while I was out there working my tail off to pay your debts. Instead, you were spending my credit card on fancy dinners and a $4,000 engagement ring. Harper's eyes went huge. She looked at Aiden.
4,000? You told me it cost 1,500 and that you'd been saving for it.
Oh, Harper, sweetie, there's so much he hasn't told you, I said with a bitter smile. Did he tell you that he's still $57,000 in debt? Did he tell you that I've been paying it off for him? Did he tell you that the credit card he used to wine and dine you, the one that got declined at the restaurant, was my card? My credit? My money? Harper looked like she might throw up.
Anne, you don't understand.
I understand perfectly, I said, my voice going ice cold. I understand that you married me for my house and my money. I understand that you've been using me to pay off your debts while you cheated on me with our tenant. I understand that you thought I was stupid enough, blind enough, desperate enough to never figure it out. I held up the manila envelopes, but I did figure it out, and here's what's going to happen now. I walked over to Aiden and shoved one envelope into his chest. He caught it reflexively, staring at it like it might explode. That, I said, is a petition for dissolution of marriage. Congratulations, Aiden, you're getting divorced. His face went completely pale.
Anne, wait.
I'm not finished, I said, turning to Harper. I held out the second envelope. She didn't take it, just stared at it. This is your 20-day notice to vacate. You have 20 days to get out of my house, Harper. After that, if you're still here, I'll have the sheriff remove you myself. Harper took the envelope with shaking hands.
Anne, I didn't mean...
Oh, please, save it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want your excuses or your crocodile tears. I want you out of my house. I turned back to Aiden, who was opening his envelope with trembling fingers. Let me save you some time, I said. You don't have any rights to this house. It was my inheritance. The deed is in my name alone. You get nothing.
But we're married. Community property.
Doesn't apply to inherited property. Get yourself a lawyer, Aiden. A good one, because you're going to need it. He was reading through the papers now, his eyes getting wider.
You're asking me to pay back the credit card? And wait, you want me to reimburse you for the debt payments?
Every single cent, $23,000 I paid toward your debt. $8,800 you charged on my credit card, most of it spent on her. I jerked my head toward Harper. The court will decide what you actually have to pay, but yes, I'm demanding full repayment.
I can't afford that, and you know I can't.
Then you shouldn't have spent it. Oh, and by the way, I'm done helping you pay your loans. That $57,000 you still owe, that's all yours now. Good luck with that. The color drained from his face.
You can't just stop.
Ooh, yes, I absolutely can. That was my money, my choice. And I'm choosing to stop throwing my hard-earned money into the black hole of your debt, especially since you were using it to fund your affair. I looked at Harper, who was standing there frozen. Did he tell you? Did Aiden mention that he's $57,000 in debt? That I've been working myself to exhaustion, skipping meals, taking the bus to save money, all so I could help him pay it off faster? Harper's eyes darted to Aiden, fear and confusion spreading across her face.
Aiden, you said you were almost done paying it off? You said it was just a few thousand left.
He lied. Shocking, I know. The man who lies to his wife also lies to his mistress. Who could have predicted that?
Anne, please.
Did you tell her that the ring you gave her, that beautiful $4,000 ring from Tiffany, was purchased on my credit card? Did you tell her that every minimum payment you've been making on that card came from my money? From the joint account that I've been funding? Harper looked like she might be sick.
Aiden, you said it was on sale. You said you'd been saving.
Oh my God, you believed him? He hasn't saved a dime in his entire pathetic life. Did you tell her, Aiden, that you've never paid a single household bill since we got married? Not one. Not the electricity, not the water, not the internet, not the mortgage insurance, nothing. That it's all been me? I stepped closer to Aiden. Did you tell her that you're completely, utterly, hopelessly broke? That without me, you're drowning in debt with no way out? That the only reason you could afford to take her to fancy restaurants and buy her expensive gifts was because you were stealing from me?
I wasn't stealing.
You were absolutely stealing. You used my credit card without my knowledge to romance another woman. You took my money from our joint account to make payments on debt you incurred cheating on me. That's theft, Aiden. That's fraud. Harper's hands were shaking so badly the papers were rattling.
Aiden, is this all true? Are you really that much in debt?
Harper, let me explain.
$57,000, plus the $8,800 on my credit card that he spent whining and dining you. That's $65,800 of debt. And guess what? The bank called him today about a missed payment. Didn't they, Aiden? He flinched. Yeah, I heard that part too. Standing right there in the hallway, listening to you two panic about money, about how you can't afford gas, about how the credit card stopped working, about how there's no money in the joint account. I looked at Harper. And you spent the last of your money paying for that engagement dinner, didn't you? That's why you're broke too. That's why you're both stuck here with nowhere to go. Harper's face crumbled.
Oh my God. Aiden, what are we supposed to do? I don't have anywhere to go. My parents are in Maine. I don't even have enough money for a plane ticket.
That's not my problem. You should have thought about that before you decided to sleep with a married man in his wife's house.
20 days isn't enough time.
It's what the law requires. Be grateful I'm not throwing you out tonight. Though honestly, I'd love nothing more than to watch you both scramble to pack your things and get out of my sight right now.
We don't have the money for a deposit on an apartment. Harper's rent money went to you, and my paycheck barely covers my minimum loan payments.
Again, not my problem. You should have planned your exit strategy before you proposed to another woman. But I guess planning ahead isn't really your strong suit, is it? You're the same genius who maxed out 3 credit cards and then took out loans to pay them off, and then took out more loans to pay off those loans. I shook my head in disgust. You two haven't even planned this through, have you? I continued. You were just going to wing it. Just figured everything would magically work out because... What? Because I'd be too heartbroken to fight back? Too stupid to realize what you were doing? Neither of them answered. Here's what's going to happen. You're both going to leave this house in 20 days. You're going to find somewhere else to live. I don't care where. A cheap motel, your parents' houses, your friends' couches, a cardboard box under a bridge. Not my concern. I looked directly at Aiden. You're going to get a lawyer and respond to the divorce petition. You're going to face the fact that you're going to be solely responsible for your debts, all of them. And you're going to learn what it's like to actually work hard and pay your own way for once in your miserable, pathetic life. Then I looked at Harper. And you're going to learn what it's like to date a man who's broke, in debt, and has absolutely nothing to offer except lies and empty promises. Enjoy your prize, sweetie. You fought hard for it. I walked toward the stairs, ready to grab some of my things.
Anne, wait. We can work this out. We don't have to get divorced. We can go to counseling.
I stopped and turned back to look at him. He actually looked hopeful, like he thought there was a chance. You proposed to another woman. Remember? You bought her a ring with my money. You've been sleeping with her in my house, in the room right down the hall from ours. And you think counseling is going to fix this? God, you're even more delusional than I thought.
But the debt, Anne, I need your help. I can't do this alone. The bank is already calling.
You should have thought about that before you cheated on me, I said. You made your choice, Aiden. You chose her. You chose the lies. You chose to throw away someone who actually loved you, who actually stood by you, who actually worked herself into the ground trying to help you. I shook my head. Now you get to live with the consequences.
But what about the bills, the utilities, the internet,
Again, not my problem anymore. You wanted to be a big man? You wanted to propose to your girlfriend and promise her a good life? Well, here's your chance to step up and actually provide for her. Good luck with that on your salary minus $57,000 in debt. I started up the stairs again. I'll be back tomorrow with a friend to get more of my things. I suggest you both start packing. And Aiden? I paused at the top of the stairs and looked down at him. Don't break anything. Don't take anything. I've already photographed and documented every item in this house. If anything is missing or damaged when you leave, I will take you to court for it. And trust me, you really can't afford another lawsuit right now. As I grabbed a few more things from my room, I heard Harper's voice, small and broken.
Aiden, what are we gonna do? I don't have any money. You don't have any money. How are we supposed to find a place in 20 days?
And Aiden's response, full of panic and desperation and the dawning realization that he'd destroyed his life.
I don't know, okay? Just let me think. Let me figure something out. Please stop asking.
But there was nothing to figure out. They'd made their bed, quite literally, and now they had to lie in it. I grabbed my bag and walked back downstairs. They were both sitting on the couch now, looking shell-shocked and terrified. Good. 20 days, I said one more time as I headed for the door. And I want this house in the exact same condition it's in right now. Am I clear? They both nodded mutely. I walked out, closing the door behind me, and stood on the porch for a moment, breathing in the cool air. It was done. I'd served them. I'd told them the truth. I'd taken back my power. And as I drove away from that house, my grandmother's house, my house, I felt something I hadn't felt in months. Hope. They could figure out their own mess. They could panic and scramble and realize that life without someone to use wasn't nearly as easy as they'd thought. Me? I was going to Sonia's. I was going to have a glass of wine. I was going to start planning my future. A future without Aiden. A future without lies. A future that was finally, completely mine. So you're probably wondering what happened after that dramatic showdown, right? Let me catch you up really quick. Aiden called me like 400 times. I ignored every single one and sent everything to my lawyer. They scrambled to find an apartment, ended up in a tiny 400 square feet studio in the worst part of town because nobody with good credit wants to rent to two broke people with massive debt. They had to borrow money from Aiden's friend just for the deposit. On moving day, I inspected the house. Everything was clean, nothing broken. They were terrified I'd sue them. Smart. Judge ruled in my favor on everything. House is 100% mine. Aiden has to pay me $200 per month for the credit card debt, $150 for loan reimbursement, and $300 on spousal support. That's $650 a month, plus his $57,000 in remaining debt, plus rent, plus living expenses, on his salary, without me subsidizing him. Yeah, he's drowning. Aiden and Harper lasted about 3 months in that tiny studio before Harper realized what she'd actually won: a broke, lying man-child who couldn't pay his bills. She moved out. She's living with roommates now. Aiden's still in that studio, alone, broke, miserable. Me? Ooh, baby. I'm thriving. Still in my beautiful house, got another raise at work, paid off that credit card in one payment, seeing a therapist to work through everything, and starting to date again. I learned that love isn't supposed to be exhausting. That you can't save someone who doesn't want to save themselves. That when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. And you know what? I'm happy. Actually, genuinely happy, because I finally learned the most important lesson. I was always enough. I just needed to believe it. So tell me, if you were in my shoes, what would you have done? Would you have confronted them right away, or played the long game like I did? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And I hope my story reminds you that you deserve better than someone who treats you like a bank account. You're worth so much more than that. Wishing you all the blessings and good fortune. Take care of yourself.
If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and drop a comment below. Don't forget to follow for more content just like this. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.